Yeah. Alright, mic check. Getting lines there. That's over to you guys. Please say something.
Something, anything, all the things, but nothing at the same time.
Yep, yours sound good, and I'll check my audio levels now. Check my audio levels. Yep, mine are good. I'm gonna go Will.
Fantastic. This is my normal speaking volume. Normal speaking volume.
Yep, looks great.
I swear I had one other thing I was looking at. Don't matter. Oh, the notes. Somewhere on one of these screens is what I should be reading. Uh, Fantastic. We'll hit the intro. We'll be on our way. This is episode 377 of the Gold Squadron podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Will, wearing his best checkered suit, Hegwood, and tonight I'm joined by Ryan, 1 monthish and counting, Staniszewski.
Can you believe we're like just over a month until Adepticon starts? It's crazy.
I know, right? Pretty crazy. We also have James Wildcard Hunt Ritter.
Yeah, the Utah Hockey Club is just on the outside looking in on that wild card spot to make the playoffs. So we just beat the team that is holding that wild card spot. So we're on the hunt. We're trying to get into the playoffs in our first year.
Nice. Before we get to our main topics, of course, I think our largest group of supporters, it's the Patreons. If you're not signed up at patreon.com/goldschoolwadron, why not? You can be helping us, as we call, keep the lights on. Heading out to live events, including Worlds. Me and James going to be there, of course, holding down the stream. I don't know what day I'm going to play. Ryan, what day are you playing at Worlds?
I'm playing Thursday because I like having a day between my Swiss day and my potential further day I hope to continue on to Saturday. I like having an in between day.
That's probably smart. Maybe I'll jump on that too. Who knows? But we'll be there at Adepticon, streaming Worlds. We can only do that from our supporters over at patreon.com. So, let's jump right into some Worlds things. Speaking of, our good friend Josh Taylor, one of the judges for Worlds, has put together him and his team if I can switch over to it. So if we take a look at it, a little form, real simple. They just are collecting questions you might have. They put through an amazing packet already. It's been sharing around on Discords, Facebooks, all the different places. I have it pinned in both our general and in our Worlds player chat. So both places should be easy to find. But basically, Josh has posted about the Adepticon policies right from their website as we are at the Adepticon convention. And of course, the component guidelines to play in X-Wing events. Long story short, official stuff only, guys. Make sure you have at least an official copy of the component, wherever it's card, template, whatever it might be. The judge is going to want you to use official components. If you have any questions about them, just refer to this component guideline. Like I said, that's on our Discord, and we'll be sharing it around all over the place. And as well, like I said, they are collecting rules, clarification questions. You might have a weird interaction for your list, something you don't know if works, and want an official ruling on it before you travel all the way out to Worlds. So this is a great place to submit those questions. They always this is a standard thing. They like to review those questions, get out like a nice FAQ. Luckily, we don't have a brand new expansion dropping for Worlds, so the questions should be pretty straightforward this time around. But of course, like I said, send them out. Ask your questions involving X-Wing. Keep it X-Wing related, guys. Don't go crazy on their form. But it just shows how gosh. No. Okay. Sorry, it was the thing. It was the starting thing. I don't know where that even came from. Oh, it's here. Anyways. That's fantastic. Hearts go out to the world's judges. They have a monumental task of running such an important event. So they want to be as prepared as possible. So if you can help them out, read through those guidelines, get yourself prepared before the event. That way everyone's on the same page. Do you guys have any burning questions? Probably not. Rules
I
interactions.
do not immediately. I'd have to review the SLs we got to make sure there isn't anything weird that I could think of immediately for the gunboats and the phantoms.
Yeah, the gunboats. I think all that was pretty much covered in the summer when it came out. Nothing too crazy. Those, at least for those loadouts. But when they start combining them with other things, I remember we were looking at what was it? Feedback Ping and the new Whisper SL. How do they interact? They don't. So just like little things like that, you might want to send off and ask and see if maybe you can get your answers, get your questions answered. We're not playing Jeopardy here. Of course, once they get all those questions together and answered, we're of course going to be shouting that out as well when the time comes. But yeah, I'm very excited for Worlds. I have no idea where I'm going to fly. Ryan, have you narrowed it down to a faction at least?
Probably Rebels.
Yeah. I'm right
really strong core of pilots I can pick from. I'm familiar with them. And yeah. If I were to pick a secondary faction, like I don't even know. Maybe
So,
Default to Resistance, because it's what I played a lot last year.
I was gonna say
but
T70s.
Even then, it's like kind of Rebel. I think the only other like spicy one I would consider, and Marcel spent some time with this, would be a Goron based Imperialist.
Yeah, Goron protecting like Scimitar 2 or Feroff or something has been
combination
very, very
of them. Yeah, maybe.
Well, fantastic. Hope to see everybody, if not at Worlds, join us for our stream there. But let's move over to take off of our AMG hats, put on the XWA hats, because we got ourselves a brand new article from the X-Wing Alliance. There it is. Wait for the transition. They just released an article on xwing.life, their website, here previewing some new standard loadout cards. We were privileged enough to, the last time we recorded, announce the Mandalorian Naboo Starfighter standard loadout card. It was very cool, very interesting to see. But now they're announcing more of these First Order cards. They did amazing work.
The evacuation of D'Qar. That's the quote-unquote like scenario that these guys are going with, because the scum was for what was it, Ryan? It was the
Most
Wanted,
working title right now is Most Wanted. It's kind of a callback thing to when when Scum first came out in 1.0, the pack was called Most Wanted, and it's not really like a battle or a scene or
Yeah.
whatever that we're harkening
It's
to. That is just
iconic. Yeah.
yeah, iconic VIP level
Mhm.
characters of the Scum pack. Now, because Most Wanted is an actual product in the history of X-Wing, we probably are going to need to change that just in case. But it's just the
Yeah.
working title for now.
Yeah. In for this pack, the First Order pack, before we just hop into it here, is this going to release with a scenario? Like any scenario rules, or is it just mainly going to be like the standard loadout cards themselves?
It is just going to be the standard loadout cards for now. Coming up with
Okay.
our own scenario in the
Come
time
on,
allotted.
why don't you just do everything, guys?
It's everything, yeah. We focused on just providing the SLs themselves.
Okay.
Community, have fun. Feel free. If you want to
Mm.
make your own evacuation of Dakar
could be fun.
scenario, have at it. We might try in the future to go along with it, but we couldn't do it together with it at the time because we didn't want to just do that and Resistance First Order and leave Scum with just one SL with a YG-2400 still. We wanted to catch them up too. So the prioritization was getting Scum taken care of too before we try and make our own fun scenario. That might come in the future though, for sure.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, let's hop right in, Will.
Yeah, we're going to be taking a look at Zeta Squadron Leader, nicknamed Scorch. Scorch was a TIE-FO fighter. He's also a TIE Bomber fighter as well. Here we see him in his TIE-FO fighter, of course, has a standard stat line 2331, but has both a pilot ability and a chassis ability. Pilot ability reads, while you perform a primary attack, if you are not stressed, you may gain 1 stress token to roll an additional die. So, same ability there. This new ship ability called Reckless. While you perform an attack, you may choose another friendly ship at range 0 to 1 of the defender. If you do, that ship gains a strain token, and you may reroll a blank result. So, you're attacking a friend near the defender.
It's strained ruthless, right? That's how I read it.
Yes.
No, because
okay.
you're re-rolling.
Well, re-rolling.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah.
the consequence isn't as
damage.
bad. You're not taking a damage. You're taking a strain.
Mhm.
But you're only re-rolling only blanks.
Right.
So similar
Okay.
to how
Versus-
No Escape
versus
works
chain.
with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
Okay, versus changing
side note,
it.
we were no. All right, clarify. None of us caught this until like just recently. We were reminded by a community member that Reckless is actually an existing talent on a single SL in the game already. The TIE Interceptor Sapphire 2, I think it is, where like you get to do like a 1-turn barrel roll thing for like double stress or whatever it is. So that ability is going to be the same. We are going to modify the name when this officially goes out.
Okay.
I was surprised that not. I was both surprised and not surprised that none of us caught it, but it was like only on one single SL that no one's really played.
Yeah, the Sapphires don't get any love.
It's a cool card, but it's not pointed to be competitive currently. So that's why, like, we knew that the talent existed and what it did, but none of us remembered that the name was also Reckless. So we're going through some a modification stage as some options for the name.
These are officially unreleased, so just a preview of them. But yeah, very cool to see a small bit of interplay between First Order ships, as James put out, very, very reminiscent of like a Ruthless type ability. But let's check out what other abilities this Scorch has. Of course, we see the evacuation of Dakar special talent Determination. While you perform a primary attack, if the defender is in your bullseye, you may suffer 1 damage to add 1 eyeball result, which so happens combines very well with Fanatical. While you perform a primary attack, if you're not shielded, you may change one eyebrow result to a hit result. So great little combo there, if whether you have a shield or not. Then we have threat scanners, or sensors, excuse me, threat sensors. While you defend, if you are not stressed, you may reroll one eyeball result. So,
If you are stressed.
oh, sorry, did I read that wrong? While you defend,
You
if
said you are not stressed. Yeah. Yeah. You need to be stressed.
Oh, that combines well with Scorch's ability as long as that attack's coming after he attacks, or they attack, rather. But yeah, I like this Determination Fanatical combination. Using it in the opening engagement. Basically, trade your shield for an extra hit. That's very cool. Well, before I get into my analysis, Ryan, what else can you tell us about this particular card? Any other details you could provide?
We knew going in that we liked the idea of what Determination did, and we knew that while we wanted some of these cards to combo with Fanatical, we were very deliberate on where it was going to happen. It wasn't going to be everyone. This Scorch, boy, does he burn bright. Do not be in his bullseye at range 1. My lord.
Yeah, because that's 5 dice, if 5 hits potentially at range 1 in bullseye.
Range 1.
Absolutely, especially if you have a friend when Reckless or yet to be renamed is available to you also.
Yeah, so that's like proton rocket levels of attack there.
Yep. Yeah, don't be there. Just don't be there.
Honestly, like even better than proton rocket because it's an add results kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Also, re-rolling blanks possibly with Reckless. Wow.
It's if you get it all lined up with all your abilities active, it's probably akin to, if you recall, when it's probably not as accurate in terms of like the amount of times you're going to get successful results. But if you remember the CLT Jedi with
I know exactly where you're going with that. Yeah.
7th Fleet Gunner Lat, with fire convergence active.
Yeah, I remember lining up a couple of those fire convergence 7th Fleet Gunner CLTs and just putting 5 damage into a ship and then being like, wait, I thought you only had 2 attack dice. And I was like, I did.
I did.
I started with 2.
And then I added this and this and this and this. And you range 1. So it's kind of a light version of that if you get it all lined up. But you know, your I4, you got to hold that focus and or get some help. You know, they have Zai shuttle in this faction. They have Upsilon shuttle in this faction. They got ways to get some friends help, or even I mean, I don't know if people are using it competitively in XWA points at all, but if I know people towards the end of last year for AMG, some people like putting squad leader on like some FOs such as Midnight. That's an example.
Yeah, very very cool. Like you said, burn bright, Scorch. Like do your thing, and if nothing else, like he is still just regular Scorch, right? With threat sensors and maybe some rerolls with Reckless.
Yep.
So turns out Scorch never needed any upgrades, and you just gave him a couple more. So great, cool, even better. Awesome. Any other comments on this one, Will, or any other insights?
I'm not sure who pointed it out to me, but the determination, and obviously a non-force user, is really wanting you to take focus actions, and I feel there's so many other good options on the TIE-FO that pay for that targeting computer. They get that fancy evade. I feel like, not that it's a negative, but the decision of when to not only take the focus action, but when to use it, say on defense before you're about to attack, is very meaningful. Because like I said, it would be nice to have the target lock, it would be nice to have the evade, especially combined with Fanatical, but you're really going to want that focus if you're putting out maximum offense. So I just think it's interesting to find that kind of dichotomy of where, like, well, obviously you want the focus, But like, do you? 'Cause you could still re-roll that determination eyeball if you took a lock, just like you were saying in CLTs. It's an added result. You can re-roll it all you want. So it could be still an option with target lock, but I don't know. Like I said, it's just been in my mind ever since we read determination. That's that importance of the focus token. But let's take a look and
Yeah, I
see
mean
if that holds
it's sort of
true.
like it's sort of like the CLT Jedi. They love that focus
They
action,
love the focus.
even if they do have force, like not having to
Mhm.
spend it for that focus added on CLT is super nice. So,
Right.
I mean, it's sort of like we just talked about last episode about Mando. He has CLT on his little
Exactly, right.
Naboo ship. So, and he loves to take those focus actions, but his chassis is kind of like fighting that to like you have to take hard choices if you want that focus.
Right. Yeah. Not always the easiest decision just to like, two bank and focus up when
Yeah.
there's a whole battle going on. Well, let's see if that remains true for our next pilot here, Zeta 5. Same TIE FO chassis, same reckless ship ability, though their pilot ability is different from Scorch's, of course. It reads, while you perform an attack, if you are not shielded and the defender's initiative is higher than yours, which Zeta 5 is at initiative 2, you can add one eyeball result. So, if you're not shielded and you're attacking somebody whose initiative is higher than yours, you add an eyeball result. So, again, initiative 2 should be pretty easy. As long they attack you, knock off your shield, you shoot back, you can add an eyeball result. We see, of course, that same determination where you can suffer a damage to add an eyeball result if the defender's in your bullseye. We also see here pattern analyzer. While you fully execute a red maneuver before the check difficulty step, you may perform one action as printed with the regular upgrade, or text is the same as the regular upgrade there. But we have a new modification. This is targeting matrix. While attacking, you may spend one eyeball result at the end of the neutralize result step. If you do, after the attack is resolved, the defender gains a strain token. This is like from Gemmer, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right? Somewhere. So
it's actually from Scythe 6. It's the exact same type of upgrade. Targeting matrix from
yeah.
Scythe 6 in Endor.
That's the.
Yeah.
Is that the
I think
TIE
they were
fighter?
also low initiative.
Short shot TIE fighter?
No, I think it's
a short shot, yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well,
I mean, short shot's got like 6 abilities on its card, so.
Yeah, the only one you care about though is you roll an extra die, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
blah, 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 4 dice at range 1.
Blah, 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 yeah. So I just want to make sure that this pilot ability should work with determination, right? So if you do line up a determination shot and you're fully, like you have 3 health, 1 shield still, it's just like opening engagement. You use determination to take a damage, which pops your shield off. Now you're not shielded to add the focus result for determination. You should then be able to add the result for your pilot ability, right?
Absolutely. If you
Okay,
line it all
right.
up,
Just
you
making
actually have a
sure
better
that all the
chance to get
timing. Yeah.
Yeah, if you line it all up, you got a better chance to get 5 die full results than you do Scorch.
Oh yeah, I was like, this guy's actually better than Scorch if you if you line everything up right.
Yep.
But to be fair, you're trying to line up bullseye at initiative 2 and maintain a focus.
Yeah,
So
and hold
not
your focus
not
token.
rolling, none of that. So, but you do have that targeting matrix, which is a little bit easier to use if you're adding focus results every attack, right? Once you
Yep.
are unshielded. So maybe if you needed to take an evade, you can use that targeting matrix to give the defender a strain. It is initiative 2, so probably not many follow-up shots coming after, but forcing your opponent into a blue maneuver to clear the strain before they next round of engagement is pretty nasty.
Yeah, utilizing his ability to straight up just give you a focus result, even if you have already used your focus to defend previously, like it just gives you targeting matrix trigger, which is
Right.
a lot more like self-sustainable usage of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Not
And then
That
bad.
is
it's
super
so the
useful.
weird thing is with this guy is he becomes kind of the most dangerous if he actually like if they don't shoot him and he gets to line up his shots in the first engagement, like that's kind of on your opponent, the I2 guy, to let that happen unless they get blocked into it, right?
Right.
The real danger is when does that 4K or 2 sloop and pattern analyzes into a focus and like still pointing his arc back at you. And sometimes when you get those like turnarounds and some other ships coming in behind Zeta 5 to like block or gum up the area, not many places to go. That turnaround of the 4K or 2 sloop into still focusing can net you some pretty good shots still.
Yeah, the
This
fact
guy,
that
this guy is going to take down large ships, right? Like being able to line up the bullseye.
well, I mean, to me, it's not so much the determination, just him more or less shooting 3 attack dice every time he shoots. Just one of the dice just always lands at an eyeball result. So, uh, as you compared him to Scorch, and I feel like this pilot also has a lot of advantages going for them. Mainly that pattern analyzer. Cannot underestimate the power of that pattern analyzer if you survive long enough to K10. Does not really help out. In fact, none of these abilities are helping their survivability, if I'm not mistaken. No
I
defensive
mean,
abilities.
I would
Not
I
at
would
all.
argue pattern analyzer, but that's half and half, right?
Yeah, it's not increasing your survivability in the initial first engagement.
Right.
That is fair. Hey, this is still just a Typho. 3 greens can fail. So yeah, I'm excited. I know we're not talking about points values here, but I mean I think this is still a like aggressively priced 4, right? Like if this was at 4, like I might consider slotting this in. This guy can really do some damage if left alone. So
I would
yeah,
say
Yeah.
four would be an understandable price. 3 would be bargain
yeah.
price for me.
Oh yeah, no. If it's 3, like you just did throw it in. But if it's a 4, like I think you could find room for it if you're trying to look for um a secret sauce
Right.
pick for.
Yeah. If you're like, man, this Midnight's not putting out enough damage, or I already have Malorus and Midnight in my list, kind of thing, I could see it.
Or if you have other initiative 2 or lower, um,
Yeah, I get some Tina in
that
there, or
yeah.
you're the I1 Lieutenant. Oh man, don't give it to me.
Revis.
Revis. Yeah.
Ah, yeah. So
Revis as well, very good. Follow
this
up
guy
Yeah,
attack.
could
Revis
be
actually
like,
works really well with the targeting matrix too.
Because they get a strain, and then Revis gets a lock, and now gets to fire at a strained locked target.
oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, if it gives
Yeah, that
people a reason to put Lieutenant Revis on the board, I'm so in.
I'm all for it. Yep. So
Revis. Yeah.
this could be
It's
like
good.
your star piece, like your centerpiece for a low initiative like Typhus Swarm, you know?
Sure. Yeah, the lead man for it. Give your ace or whoever you have that's not in your jousting block some extra time. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
gonna draw a lot of attention. When you're full aggro,
Oh.
when you didn't bring any defensive abilities, only offensive ones. Yeah, people
Yeah.
are gonna
We're
take notice.
so angry. You destroyed Star Killer Base. We're here to destroy all of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
I'm here for it. Very FO, very might of the first order.
Very cool. We have a Kylo Ren in the article. I believe we already talked about this one, though.
Yeah, this just officially puts it in the article so we can have a little bit of snippet about it, even though it was already previewed by community members,
Yep.
specifically
Uh,
the Sith Taker
yeah.
team.
Any other insights that you want to share about this one, Ryan, or anything that's changed in a week or two since it's been previewed?
It's still the same. He's still extremely angry and crits many people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a monster. There, I mean, so,
Yeah. So just a
I will say his point cost because we know it already, but he is deservedly 7 points.
Yeah.
He does so much damage.
Yeah, if you're
Tentative point cost. Nothing is finalized yet until we see
Yes,
that all that comes out.
yeah, but as of right now, from what we've seen, we haven't seen a reason to shift him at all. Obviously, when it gets up to the wild public, and if something, he's never played or he's played everywhere and he's insane, like
right. Yeah,
that's when
for
we figure out
those,
if we
I
did,
mean,
if we did our job right or not.
yeah, for those who don't fly first order or fly against it, they recently did make the customizable Kylo lose a lot of loadout and dip into 6 points. So this is going to be the big boy with those proton torpedoes that the 6-pointer can't equip anymore.
It's kind of
They also-
crazy that we kind of worked together to maybe in some form have a version that was the bargain one, because we maybe have found that a one with way too many loadout options was kind of insane to balance. So
And-
maybe the
and
big
Debris
one is the
Gambit.
SL one.
Wow.
Yeah, take away his talent slot, no debris gambit. Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe a smart idea.
Turns
yeah,
out
so
No,
we
instinctive
can
aims,
still
things like that,
still make a monster, but it is a tailored monster.
yeah.
Right.
So just as a reminder, this guy does have same stat line except for an additional force. Still has auto
Huge.
thrusters, hugely, yeah. And also has the ability from his TIE Whisper of the flipping cards up if you're in the bullseye. That's just whenever a ship is dealt a damage card, so that can happen
Just
anytime.
dealt. They
Yeah.
can run over a
Yep.
rock and land in your bullseye. That's a face
I've
up
seen
card.
it.
It can have
It's brutal.
a different ship shooting them, and then Kylo's just like, "You're
Yeah.
still in my bullseye."
Friendly
I have-
bump, bomb.
Yeah, more
anything.
force. So
Just-
yeah, still has that same determination as well. Suffering a damage to add a focus result. Turns out focus results are pretty useful on force users when they have 3 force. So, and malice, being able to maybe get some force back, probably going to be pretty useful to spend some extra force to flip other damage cards that weren't crits up if you're trying to play for a malice. And then proton torpedoes, of course.
Like, you just better hope you have enough
crits.
shields to survive Kylo, because he's going to provide as many crits as possible to you. And also know that his health is a resource, and he has as many advanced proton torpedoes, a la determination at range 1, as he has health.
Very true.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
determination's gonna get scary.
Yeah, well, determination is a primary attack only, so no 5 dice
Correct.
torpedoes. So
I'm just saying at range 1, it acts like
I hear you. I'm just
Yep.
clarifying because I need to clarify for myself because I don't want.
Yeah, there is
5 dice
We're-
torpedoes.
there is
Yeah.
2 rules questions about this, and yeah, it's no determination doesn't work on proton torpedoes, and you do have to spend the force on malice or with malice to be able to recover force. So you can't just
Yeah.
Correct.
So
crit with the proton torpedo and that gives you force back as if no, can't do that.
You have to
so
spend the force.
you have to spend the force. If you do, you get to recover force if there was a pilot or crew damage card.
Okay. Yep. Just some common
Good-
mistakes
good
that happen
clarification.
with those abilities. But let's keep going
Yeah.
on to some newer pilots then. This is Lieutenant LeHughes back in the TIE SF. Maintains the same stat line as any other TIE SF. Has the ability, at the start of the engagement phase, you may acquire a lock on an object at range 1 to 3 that has a friendly lock. If you do, break a friendly lock on that object. So, the difference here between LeHughes' regular ability and his standard loadout ability, his customized ability, you do that using other people's locks when you're attacking. This changes it to the start of engagement. So you got to make that choice first. You can't just see if that person needs that lock before you can change it over to LeHughes. So I like that change. No longer a wait and see kind of ability. Had to make that determination first. Or rather at the start of engagement.
Yeah, importantly, that allows them to actually use missiles because you need the lock before you get
Correct.
to like the modified dice step. So having concussion missiles on there is super helpful.
That's true.
Also, to note, this is not. There's no special forces gunner on this, so this is just a 2-die ship without those missiles. So we do still have the heavy weapon turret. Same ability, except additionally, they've moved the linked actions to the heavy weapon turret ability. So after you perform an action, you can perform a white rotate action.
Yeah,
So
because
I assume
there was
the reason
both
for that is there's a space issue.
it absolutely was mainly a physical space issue because of all the like focus linked rotate, evade link rotate, block link rotate, barrel link. Like it's so cluttered and messy on an SL card. We're just like, we didn't believe it was really going to break anything if we just said as part of the heavy weapon turret, after you perform an action, you may perform a white rotate. It links to everything now, which also means, and we thought about this, we're like, okay, if that is allowed, are we okay with you being able to link your rotate after doing a scenario action? The answer was, yeah, seems fine, seems cool.
Also note there
that's fair.
the linked action that is on their action bar, reload into target lock. So in theory, you could take 3 actions there. Pretty cool.
Which originally came from the First Order Ordnance tech, which is
right.
an actual gunner upgrade in this game, but we changed it a bit.
So we haven't got to the upgrades. Determination, of course. Concussion missiles, as you know them, range 2 to 3, 3 dice attack, 3 charges. Then that foot, or First Order Ordnance tech, after you gain a disarm token, gain a calculate token. While you are disarmed, you can still perform forward arc primary attacks. So you do remember having that swivel turret, but you do have a printed forward arc as well. So the disarm, calculate, target lock, rotate. You're only shooting that 2 dice primary, but that's a good looking round though.
If you set up determination as well, it could be nice.
Correct.
But yeah,
being primary only.
We thought of it as the gunner is focusing on being the person controlling the heavy weapon turret. So when he reloads, he's reloading the heavy weapon turret, but not also the guns on the main TIE fighter itself.
Right.
And reloading's always felt bad in this game. So, and we also didn't want every single SF to have special forces gunner just slapped on it as an upgrade, or even
reload good.
or even messing with, because we wanted determination to be on a lot of these cards. We didn't want to exclude all SFs from having determination by giving it a native 3-die primary front arc attack. It was going to be really hard to point out these SFs if we had determination on any single SF that had a built-in 3-die primary out the front. All of them could potentially generate advanced proton torpedo style attacks at range 1, which is going to be hard to get them at a decent point value that wasn't 5 or 6, to be honest. So when we looked at the options, we're like, okay, what if we made missile-based SFs, but also like did something more with the First Order Ordnance tech that wasn't just give it white reload into white lock? So we like the idea of splitting up functionally the lasers on the actual TIE fighter to still being able to shoot that, while also having the gunner reloading it and giving that action of reload, link, lock, and then when you gain a disarm, you get a calculate, just like his control better gunner tech person. So yes, you can pretty much generate 4 actions, but you're still only shooting a single primary 2-die gun out the front that turn, because you can always link to rotate every turn anyway, so it's not like you rotating at that turn is really doing much besides maybe setting something up next turn.
Yeah, like, and you're getting a front to then sloop or something.
Yeah, like a calculate, link, lock. So you have a lock with a calculate for the 2-die primary front arc gun. Now, if you get a range 1 with determination for LaHuse, like, yeah, that can be pretty dangerous. It's not going to be easy because he can't barrel roll to get that bullseye. He's I5, so you have some options there. We just wanted reload to not feel terrible and still have a chance to get some of these charges back with the missiles.
Right. And the I think the only rules clarification on this is that you do need a missing charge to be able to perform a reload action. So you can't just target lock from long in the opening engagement. So you have to actually reload something when you do the reload action to be able to get
Yes.
the disarm. Actually, I don't even know what happens when you just can't do it. It's like trying to barrel roll
It's a
while
fail.
you're
Yeah.
barrel roll while you're towing. It's just you can't even do
Yeah.
that. It's not allowed. You have to choose something you are allowed to do. So, just a small clarification on that because I mean, you start dangling calculate target lock in front of me, I'm going to try to abuse it. But
Yeah.
I think this is very good.
Even
though.
on a 2 die attacks, like, lock calculate is most likely going to hit.
Yeah, it's definitely more consistent, but it's not as spiky unless you put that determination into effect.
Right.
Yeah.
I really like this Hughes. I like the change in his ability, durability, and yeah, just getting away from the reliance on that special forces gunner. I believe we have another SF we could compare it to.
You?
This is Theta 3. Same stat line as all the other SFs except for Theta 3 has 2 charges. I wonder what those could be. Take a look at the pilot ability. At the start of the engagement phase, if you have no green tokens, you may spend 1 charge to gain an evade. Alright, there you go. Twice 2 rounds of the game, you get an evade token. Pretty cool. Same same chassis ability, same action bar, but we have ourselves a new missile. These are new.
Missile that we've
Yeah.
had this on the dash.
Right.
Dash is very angry.
These would be the Seeker missiles. 4 charges, attack, target lock. You can spend 1 charge to fire the attack for 3 dice out your front arc, range 2 to 3. The addition, though, of the Seeker missile reads during the modify attack dice step. You may spend up to 2 additional charges. Change 1 eyeball. Result to a hit for each charge spent this way. So it has a built-in focus modifier. In fact, you could shoot, 1 charge to shoot, 1 charge for eyeball. 1 charge to shoot, 1 charge for eyeball. And that would be your 4 charges. So, an amazing way to double modify your missile. But Theta 3 is only initiative 3. So he's going to need some help getting those target locks, and that comes from passive sensors. I believe, word for word here, flip your charge only during your perform action step. While it's inactive, you cannot be coordinated, but before you engage and your charge is inactive, you can perform a calculate or target lock action. So move it to initiative 3, pop your passive sensors, wait to fire those Seeker missiles. And we do have the first order tech here as well to provide a way to get more of those Seeker missiles back, because you can burn through a lot of those charges quickly. So
You
very
definitely
cool.
can. And this is, I believe, the first order ship you're seeing that does not have determination.
Yeah, I noticed that. I'm not mad about it. As you said, you're on these SFs. You don't really. Let me say this: you would prefer to be shooting your missile out the front in most situations, rather than trying to go for the determination.
Yeah, well, the nice thing, as we know with passive sensors, because you're performing a lock action with on the original SF and on this one, after you perform an action, which you're performing a lock action, you white rotate. So, in front or back arc, Theta 3 can decide to shoot his Seeker missiles out the front or back when passive sensors goes off.
Yeah. So, you'll be still with an evade token for the first couple rounds of engagement, but otherwise you're going to be left looking for that target lock. And again, I don't think we while definitely could find some use for determination on this particular pilot, I think you're going to see these particular upgrades used a lot more. So, big fan of this. I don't know. I think my like knee jerk was like, man, this is gonna be good at 4 points. So I don't know
I,
what
I
you'll
think
price it at
it.
though. Hard to say.
I think this is one of those like Alpha Strike type of ships that like once it shoots off all of its secret missiles, it's going to take a while to get back its value. Because I mean, on that first pass on the secret missile, yeah, 3 dice, self double modded with an evade, great, right?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. But if you let's say you spend all 3 charges on that secret missile for that first attack, now you're only shooting the 1 3-die attack with no double mods. So now
Mm-hmm.
it's a little bit less good, and it's going to take forever because that first order ordnance tech doesn't give you extra charges on that secret missile. So
Nope.
it's going to take a while to get that secret missile back up to fully double modded
Right.
levels again.
Back to like two
So and
charges again.
this like you said, this one doesn't have determination, so it doesn't have a little bit of uh primary attack spike to rely on. So I think this guy is going to be really great on that first engagement. After that, it may take a little bit to get him back in a good position.
And you only have the 2 charges for his ability, so you're only kind of safer for 2 turns of passive sensor usage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I
I
mean,
think this guy is
yeah.
a burn bright, and he's a blocker after that almost.
Well, I mean, we have to factor in that rear arc turret as well, that heavy weapons turret, so you can fly past them with your low initiative, throw in that 5 forward on their dial, like jump over them almost, and then shoot those secret missiles behind you.
Yeah. Absolutely. I definitely see that. I'm worried that this guy looks like on paper really, really strong, and in that first engagement is going to look spectacular. But after that first engagement, I think he falls off real quick.
Yeah, like you said, you leverage what you can, that low initiative, and start blocking people, grabbing objectives. Still, a powerful piece to open or for the initial engagements. Is there any other ones? Yeah. Oh, we do have another one. How many more are there? Oh, okay, just one last one.
That's the last one.
Keeps
exactly
going.
One more.
All right. This is a quick one here. We got Omega 2. This is a TIE FO fighter at Initiative 3. They have the pilot ability friendly TIE ships can acquire locks onto objects at range 0 to 3 of you, ignoring range restrictions. So, very similar to like a Bodhi Rook, but whereas Bodhi applies to your whole squad, Omega is a singular relay himself. And Friendly TIE opens it up to a lot of first order ships. I'm trying to think of like Upsilon and Psi might be the only two that aren't TIE fighter, like TIE designated ships.
Yeah. I'm the sensor buoy now. Look at me.
Yeah, exactly. So that is very cool. It doesn't have to like take their own locks necessarily. You could just be out there as that kind of spotter. Has the same reckless ability. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Also has a different action bar as well. One little spicy roll into evade.
Yes, roll into red evade.
First linked action given to a TIE FO.
Hold your horses.
Very specific. We'll get into that because you guys are just in the main part. So could you go with the upgrades? I'll kind of go into like why we went that route.
Sure.
Okay.
We have the standard determination and a targeting relay with 2 charges. After a friendly ship acquires a lock on an enemy at range 0 to 1 of you, you may spend a charge and gain a stress token. If you do, that friendly ship may gain a calculate. So if you're, say, going in for blocking range with Omega 2 and got very close to an enemy ship, and someone comes in and goes to attack it, they get a calculate up to twice per game. No restriction on like once per round or anything like that. So in theory, then 2 people could come up and use both your charges for targeting relay. If I'm understanding that correct, there's nothing stopping you from doing it
I mean,
in the same
You
round.
Blow it all in one turn if you want.
Omega 2 can even use it on themselves.
I don't see anything that would stop that.
After friendly ship acquires a lock on an enemy ship, doesn't say another.
Pretty
This
good.
this ship internally, when we were developing it, we wanted a spotter for all these lock things. Now we didn't want to call it spotter, but we that was the little nickname we had. The idea behind it, a shot spotter of some type. So both with the pilot ability and the targeting relay working in tandem to really support a lot of the lock based stuff in first order, and to get Omega 2 into position for targeting relay more consistently without feeling like you're putting your 4 health ship with 3 agility praying that your green dice hold up. Ergo, the barrel link to red evade. Getting into those blocking, spotting positions is a little bit safer now with that linked action.
Yeah, and they got those hard 2 blues to be able to negate that pretty easily. I think we've seen those. I want to say it was the TIE Fighters. Was it the latest TIE Fighters had linked action similar to that?
Yeah, they had like roll evade, and then they could get rid of it.
Oh, yeah, but they were
With,
shedding stress, though. They didn't really have to deal with the stress if they were hanging out together. So,
Yeah.
this one will. No, nothing to shred his stress there.
Yeah, and he actually has ways to get more stress. So
Yeah, that's
yeah.
true.
Roll evade at your own peril here.
Yeah, who gains the stress? It's Omega 2 in the targeting relay. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Omega
may
2
spend
always
1
gets the
charge
stress.
and gain a stress
Yep.
token. Okay. Wow, really,
Look,
really
If
kind
you're
of
setting
selfless
up for a
out there.
big alpha strike, you can stress Omega 2 3 times if you want. The barrel link to evade
is-
and 2
this
times
is
the
stress-
targeting relay. And then you're just stressed all over, giving your friends as much help as possible, sitting in the
that's
middle of
true.
all these enemies and just like spotting them and just please do your job the rest of my first order bros.
That's
this
that's
is
true. That's
stress-
what I was.
stress calculate Tina.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, what's stopping you from doing the targeting relay twice, and it's double stressing yourself? Yeah, that's true. But it doesn't say if you're
And this
not stressed. So as an emergency button, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
this
pretty
is
cool.
non-recurring charges, right? It's cut off a little bit. I just want to.
Nope,
It
that's
is
the end of the
non-recurring,
card.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yep. So you can do this twice a game. So
Okay.
if it's twice in the same turn, don't go for it.
Yeah, I like this guy. This is kind of the end cap of what I was saying before. It was like First Order has so many good actions that the emphasis of taking the focus action, or at least getting some way to modify focus tokens. This targeting relay is going to be a great way for that. So you can still take your lock actions while getting the determination modifiers you need. Very cool. Well, I like it. The design philosophy of trying to get other roles out there instead of just the typical ones we see, using FO as a spotter, using the SFs for their missile-based munitions. Very, very cool. Then it just goes on to the other updates, specifically the Epic standardized loadouts. We're not going to cover them here today, but definitely go check them out. Give them some feedback on those Epic standardized cards. Very awesome. Ryan, any other closing thoughts on these SLs, or anything we should be looking forward to in the future then?
We will have a similar article to this for both Resistance and Scum. I mean, it sounds obvious, but that will happen. I don't know if we'll officially make it public when we like change the name Reckless to something, but that's going to happen just so we avoid confusion. Got some good options available. We're just kind of doing some final votes on thoughts between the people in the design team. Um, uh, this is not all the First Order. This is not it.
Oh,
Say that.
Okay.
There is more to come. This is only part 1.
All right. Very cool. Let me make sure I don't have that intro on. For a second time in this podcast. That's awesome. I am very interested to see how these First Order standard loadouts play out. And of course, you teased me in this article about the standard loadouts for the Star Fortress. Ugh, my mind going wild with theories. So really excited to see what you guys have come to for the other side of the battle there. We have a little bit of... Oh, sorry.
Excited to show off the resistance side of it for sure.
Yeah. And of course the scum as well. So hopefully those land with to be well received, and encourage you guys to keep making more. I like the idea of doing them in like the battle packs. Everyone really latched on to that kind of release schedule. So very, very cool. We have a little bit of time left, so I'm going to hit some of our Patreon questions that were submitted to us via our Discord. If I can pull them up here, if I could find them. We got so many things in our Discord. Again, I just posted what Josh was sending out in both our player chat for Adepticon. If you've never been to Adepticon, it is in a new city as well. So I also might be looking for some advice or help when we're there. But the Discord's the best way to do all of that. Oh, because I closed it. We got so many tabs here. Alright, so... So I got some questions for you here. I'm just going to read them verbatim from our beautiful Patreons on our Discord here. Benar reads out or states a couple questions here. Like I said, I'll try to read them verbatim, or close to it anyways. Basically asking about, says it's not an easy one, but treating range 0 as range 1, specifically Arvel and Oiken. Does only the attacker get treated as range 1 and not the defender? Would a Fang get Concordia? Would Fen get his 4th dice in this situation? So that's Arvel attacking a ship at range 0. Is the attack range 1? Or is the attack range 0 to the defender? I would have to double check Arvel's wording here before I made an exact ruling on that. What did you guys have come to in your
I feel like there's a question about. I feel like there's a forum question on this, but
an FAQ question, or the AMG forums. Specifically, Arvel's new ability. Remember, it did change in the 2.5 rules because we shoot it. Everybody can shoot at range 0 now. They say while you perform an attack at attack range 0, treat it as an attack at attack range 1. So he's referencing as treat it as an attack at range 1. But would the defender have that same stipulation? Does it change? It wouldn't change the entire attack to range 1. Just his version of it? This is a good question. My knee jerk would say yes, it's a range 1 attack. So whatever would happen for that decision falls through. Let me read Oiken then. While you perform an attack at range 0, treat it as an attack at range 1. So there's almost the exact same wording there for Oiken. Treat it as an attack at attack range 1.
Yeah, I think the next thing would be to like check Concordia, but I can't. If the attack range is 1, yeah, I think it would work with Concordia.
Yes, I would say definitively the attack is at range 1. Now, do other things trigger off of that? Do they ask, is the attack range 1, or are you range 1?
The attack range.
Yes. So Fenrir's ability says if the attack is range 1. So I'd probably say yes for the Finn. I'm not an official judge, but I would say yes for Finn. And as well, Concordia says, is the attack range 1? I'm trying to think of somebody's pilot ability who just asks where the attacker is. Something like
at range 1 of you. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like Mandalorian.
If Boba only said range 1, not range 0 to 1.
Well, you defend if you are the range 1 to 2 of 2 or more enemy ships, yeah. So to trigger things like Mandalorian also is looking for...
Yeah, would prevent Mandalorian from getting his ability.
Oh, no, I take that back. Mandalorian would be the opposite then. The Mandalorian in the Razor Crest says, while you defend or perform an attack, if you are in the front arc at range 1 to 2 of 2 or more enemy ships, blah, blah, blah. You don't get to change the distance of your ships, just the attack range. So I don't believe Mandalorian would work in this situation against Arvel.
No. Yeah. So if Arvel was smack dab in the middle of Mandalorian, and a face off, and they were at range 0 of each other, Arvel attacks, he would not be allowed to be counted as one of the 1 to 2 ships.
Because he's physically at range 0 still, even if the attack is considered range 1.
Correct.
Okay,
that's an interesting question.
I think it would have to be a case by case scenario about what the defender's abilities are in that situation, but it seems pretty clear that it's all of a sudden a range 1 attack. We have a second question here from Ben. This is a lengthy one. First question at first, and then we're looking more on
theoretical.
Theoretical, yes. Do you think that a faction's success rides on the strength of its 3 and 4 point ships? It seems that the best factions all have the most depth at 3 and 4, and the factions that aren't on the top lack in those areas. Example, CIS and Republic, amazing 3 and 4 pointers, and First Order and Scum are both pretty weak in 3-point ships. Same thing. Well, but oddly, both Scum and FO have solid choices in 5 and 6, so it kind of balances out. But I mean, don't get me started on Scum 3-point ships. But I'll say mine. Answer this very quickly. I do judge a faction on its cheapest ships. Your fillers, your value pieces, I think kind of can create a better list, and not just who the best ship is for the faction. So I don't think it's 100%, but I think that the value of your cheapest ships does increase your overall capabilities. What do you guys think about 3 and 4 point ships?
It is now, just to confirm, is this speaking in terms of current AMG points or XWA points?
We are probably talking XWA, but the same theory could apply to like a green tournament, but probably for this discussion we'll keep it XWA.
Oh, I was gonna say, on the AMG side of things, when I look at Rebels, their power, while it still has some good units in 4 and 3, their depth really is in the 5-point slot, and then like using the best available 3s and 4s to fill out after taking like 2 or 3 5-pointers to choose from that are like your Wedge, your Luke, or Endor Wedge, Yavin Luke, and Fen Rao, right? Out of those
Mm-hmm.
three. So some people have prioritized taking those and then picking the best three left available into two with Sabine, because that's the 2-pointer that's
Right.
available. So, um, but yes, a 4 and 3 point bracket is the generally the best to fill out a list with right now. So when the quality of them is strong, it generally feels like those are the factions that are going to have the easiest time putting a list together that feels competitive. Um, I don't know necessarily if the depth of them matters as much as the quality of the best ones available. Because if you think about it when you're building a list, if you take the best 4-pointer and the best 3-pointer, you've taken 7 points in your list for 2 ships. You have 13 points left to go. Not always is it best to take another 4 and another 3 immediately, and leave yourself with 6 points, because then you have to weigh, okay, is the second best 4 and the second best 3 good enough to take the best available 6 left in my list? Or are the 3s deep enough to take 2 more 3s? A lot of times they're not. Or even if that strategy of having 2 4s and 4 3s is like, is that list good? Answer may or may not be. So I don't know if necessarily the depth is as important as straight up what is your best 4 and 3 in the faction. If they are some of the best 4 3-pointers across all factions, then yes, you're probably pretty well positioned.
I would agree with that. Any input, James?
Um, I don't know. I don't look at other factions too much when list building. But for when I am list building, I do look at strong 4-pointers because I usually build 5 4-pointers. So
Yeah, 5x4.
I
Yeah,
would, yeah,
it's a,
I usually
it's a
do
great way
5
to start a
4-pointers.
list, right? Especially in a faction you're unfamiliar with.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say yes. I definitely look. I would definitely judge a faction based on the strengths of its 4-pointers.
Yeah, I'm not sure it necessarily would be like, oh, you have the best 4-pointer and the best 3-pointer, you're the best faction all of a sudden. But I do think that having that depth in 3 and 4 is what's going to create more list variety in your faction. So if you only have like one or two 3-pointers that are good, you're just going to see that same 3-pointer in every list. Not a lot of diversifying what pilots you're bringing. So it's actually kind of hard to bring a list without a 3 or 4 point. I'm trying to think of what lists aren't bringing a 3 or 4 point ship these days. I can't name one off the top of my head, to be honest with you. Because yeah,
Maybe if you were doing like ace FO aces or something.
yeah, 4 or 5s.
Yeah.
That's a rarity, but okay, I could see it. But that's an interesting topic. Uh,
Yeah, like scum, like a medium scum salad kind of thing.
oh yeah, like 6 6 7 for large
Yeah.
bases or something. Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. I definitely think that it has value, but maybe not uh, what makes them good or bad. Let's see. We got a couple other questions here. Do you know how long we've been going? My counters started at the start of the
We're
stream, but I
we're
think
yeah we're over an hour now, I think.
okay. Let's hit up one more, and then we will. Hopefully, we'll have time to get back to Belinda Mood's questions and another time. He's had some great ones in there. But we'll finish off with Nutano's question here. Then again from our Patreon section on our Discord. While XWA beta points is a good change, I find there is still a race to the top for I5 and I6. think the game has suffered from this, except when spamming generics was around. Is there room to have generics be even cheaper, but limited somehow, so they're not spammed with 5 plus of the same chassis? So kind of two thoughts here from Utano. Identifying a race to the top, as they put it, and then offering up a solution of maybe more value in the lower side of the initiatives, which is generally the generics. Thoughts on that? Those two kind of discussion points.
I mean, we know initiative is a extremely powerful number in X-wing. It derives a lot of situations where moving later means you get to decide things later. Your action decisions can be reactive and be more informed because other things have happened before that ship has moved or decided to do anything yet. Um, Barring being blocked, it's generally to always their advantage. And also, then being able to shoot an initiative destroy opposing ships is a very powerful thing too.
Very powerful.
Turns out you don't have to dodge their arc if the other ship is dead anyway.
Yeah, that's the
That is
rebel arc dodge.
The Dale Cromwell strategy.
Yeah, exactly.
So, as XWA tries to points team and the development overall across everyone that works with this tries to figure things out. I mean, that's why this is a beta, right? We're working through some things. Points team is always trying to make sure things are as balanced as they can be. There are some tools that we've chosen to not use yet to keep consistent, to avoid less confusion with current AMG points and how it's structured. That could give us some options after AMG is done hosting any organized play, or after. We say after Adepticon a lot. It might not be directly after Adepticon.
Yeah, there's tournaments. There's grand tournaments till the end of May.
Yeah. So there's some things that we are likely able to start utilizing further, or ideas that we've come up with that we didn't want to implement during this beta phase and during the time at which AMG is still supporting the game with their events to avoid confusion. So we're always keep an eye on stuff. Ali and his points team have done a great job working through this beta phase. And that's why it's a beta phase. That's why we've enjoyed seeing everyone have a crack at the points as they are so far, and how they've been adjusted in certain times throughout the year. So keep at it. Keep coming with the feedback. Make sure to use official feedback forms provided by XWA. You can go to xwing.life, the main page. There should be an option for submitting any feedback forms in official capacities. It's always better to do that than to try and just ping some person randomly in a Discord somewhere about a question. There actually is, even in the X-Wing 2.5 edition Discord, there is even a section under the XWA Alliance category that is for questions you can submit in there. So there is a Discord spot directed for XWA questions, along with other various feedback forms. So, not various, one feedback form for general community usage. So, feel free to use those to share your thoughts. But yeah, there's more tools at our disposal that we plan on utilizing, whether they've already been implemented before by AMG or FFG, or that we have developed ourselves to give us some more levers to push and pull in the near future.
James, any thoughts on what is honestly the age-old question of go big numbers or go more numbers?
I like initiative 4s, so I like more numbers. So, yeah, that's my opinion. I know
Sure.
like Big Orange is strong, so
It is. It can be.
I know that's why people tend to lean Big Orange, but I'm not a fan of it.
Sure. Just don't have to lock it in as a thing you want or anything. Just off the top of your head, is there a way you might allow those lower initiatives to compete without just being spammed up to more than 5 of them or so? Got any ideas off the top of your head as someone who does play these more often? The bigger
Ge
squads?
generally, I play like lower initiatives because lower initiatives usually have like more like quote unquote fun abilities to me. And they can do more damage because they generally have more loadout. So that's why I try to aim for them, is because they provide more interactive gameplay than just being I move last and I shoot first. So
You bring up a good
um,
point that, yeah, traditionally the mid range or low initiative, my mind goes to like Jess Pava as like that ability would be amazing if it was on somebody with higher initiative. There's somebody
yeah,
else who was like,
Nimi.
uh, well, I mean her, yes, but that's the
Well, yeah,
kind
but
of
like yeah,
that kind of ability where it's like I'm not just good against other ships. I'm good against specifically those high initiative ships to give that kind of balance. And I'm sure, again, I'm not part of the design team. I'm not part of the points team. So I could theorize and say whatever I want. But it seems like something that would be similar to the double pipped rebel fang fighters. What are they called? Top of your head.
uh, and Lorraine Guard or something like that.
Those are the scum ones.
Clan Ren Volunteers.
You got it. There it
Okay.
is. But you brought up the other example as well. The double pipped like protection Mandalorian Royal Guards.
Yeah.
Very similar design philosophy, low initiative, double pipped, and provides a powerful ability, but only if you do it in a specific way. So I
Yeah.
assume that we could see more things like that. A double pipped pairing on a low initiative could be the route they go to get those. But they're not really generics then, right? When you start double pipping them, I don't think. To me personally, we don't need to. How do I say it? We have so many other levers than to control the kind of environment where we put something to 2 points and then you just see 8 of them in a list, right? That would obviously be bad. So I assume we'll see something more keen to these clanmen volunteers or a lot of I play a lot of CIS, so like this is like just having a double or triple pip generic isn't very weird to me. Like
Yeah.
to kind of limit that strength of maybe a particular ability or chassis. So maybe
Yeah.
we see
Yeah. I mean,
something like that.
you've been rocking like the Geonosian prototypes for a while, so
Well, I was.
yeah.
Now I'll have the opposite, but I'll go back down to the single one, whatever they recommend. But yeah, it's the same thing of exactly the Geonosians. Another great example of this is a pilot with a powerful-ish ability, but because it's double pipped, we can contain its points much easier. And I feel like the smart people over on the design and points team, they're going to be pulling all those levers to get the possibility of that kind of balance. But we'll see if they do it through points or through restrictions, like on the restricted list, or just through new pilots or erratas. Who knows? As Ryan was saying, it's been kind of transparent that the XWA's more or less keeping the status quo to not confuse people about like playing 2 different versions of the game, like going wildly away from AMG for now, which I think makes
Like
sense.
going back to variable pricing or something like that.
Yeah, going up to 1,000 points or something crazy, brand new rules, right? is not the time or place yet. So
Yet.
yes.
Maybe in like 5 weeks.
Well, probably further than that. But, either way, I'm excited to see what comes up of it. Especially excited for Worlds. Should be an amazing time up in Milwaukee. Maybe we could actually walk somewhere. There's the only problem with Chelmsford. You could not walk anywhere. You walk to like the one gas station and like there used to be a burger place across the street. That was about all you could ever walk to. So, yeah, should be an exciting time. Any other closing comments before we wrap this up? That's to you, Ryan. Ryan, your closing comment.
No, I got nothing.
Nothing to say
Oh.
about Worlds.
Yeah, I was like, didn't you want to say something, Ryan?
Didn't you want to say something about Worlds? Or is that not time yet? We're not ready for that yet.
If it relates to the thing I linked you guys earlier to look at, is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no, not yet. I'm letting more people.
Okay.
Check. Yeah,
All
not
right.
yet.
Stay tuned for.
I mean,
Maybe next episode.
Earlier than that. Stay tuned with the next couple days. I will be likely sharing a link regarding the ability to order cookies for
Cookies. Yeah, insert SpongeBob chocolate
It's a-
meme, right?
It's a tradition.
I don't need it.
All right, well, keep on the lookout for that. Again, check out the Discord. Shout out to Nick and 312 for their Conquest series, ! Conquest. Could give you all the information on that on our Twitch. Otherwise, you can check out Nick's Discord at 312 for more information about a tournament, an online tournament, single day event with XWA points. So very exciting. He's been putting through a lot of work, so I got to make sure I give him a shout out for all the hard work he's done. And of course, everybody at the XWA. But from everybody here at Gold Squadron, stay safe, stay smart. Gold Squadron out. Run that outro.
Thank you to ISO, Danko, Baffle, Trojan, Prophet, Shadow, Tycho, Spice, Raider, Lancer, Fallen, Row 6, 626, Chief, and J List, our Grand Admiral patrons. And all of our Gold Squadron patrons and community members, thank you for your support. Gold Squadron